We're simply providing the best quality medicine that we can to the patients of Arizona. We do it at a very low cost, and we continue to improve the quality of our products each and every day. We employ biologists and chemists and microbiologists from advanced degrees to help us with that endeavor.
Well, here, I'll show you the results here. So these are results that we took. We tested 4 flower samples from your dispensary, and we took them to a lab called Delta Verde Laboratory.
Okay.
Now, as you know, there are no standards in Arizona. However, other states have standards. So the question, if this product isn't safe for people in Washington, in Colorado, is it safe for people here in Arizona?
So just because these results are out doesn't mean they were actually properly handled. When you're doing laboratory testing, you require specific septic controls for care, control, and custody of the sample. Now let's talk about how that sample was obtained. It's my understanding that you sent a patient in, you wired him with an undercover camera, is that correct?
No, we didn't wire him.
So how did you obtain these samples?
We had a patient go in and purchase the samples.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what?
And then we had the patient take the samples to an independent testing facility.
And where? And how far away was that?
It's about 15 or 20 minutes away. 20
Okay.
minute drive.
And
yeah.
was the patient alone in the car?
Yes.
Okay. So that patient could have done anything and everything they wanted to that sample during the transmission.
We had.
Is that correct?
We had a camera in the car with the patient as the patient drove.
Was the camera on the medicine the whole time?
We had a camera
Probably
on the
not.
medicine on the whole time. We had. We also followed them in the car. So I think what your argument is that we can't trust these results. Is that correct?
Well, first of all, there are no certified laboratories in the state of Arizona that are capable of testing medical marijuana. Period. That's a statement of fact. Wouldn't you agree?
That's correct.
Okay. So if there is no certified laboratories, how can you trust any results regarding cannabis in the state of Arizona?
How can we trust your results?
My results are in-house and they're not for public use. My results come from C4 Labs.
My results
and
come from
I'll agree with you.
Inspector at the Arizona Department of Health Services. He's the guy who was involved in regulations in our state.
So there are no certified labs. We're in agreement.
Right.
Okay. So if there's no certified labs, I agree with you. How do you test the results? That's one of the reasons why we're leading the conversation about bringing forth a laboratory testing protocol for the patients of Arizona with testing. You can't trust the results. Remember I said about 3.5 years ago, we brought our own laboratory in-house because we couldn't trust the results.
Yeah.
So what I did was benchmark a standard of excellence with complete efficacy so that when we looked at the results, we were able to see that these results were consistently applied. That's what I'd like to see in Arizona.
I have trouble reconciling the argument that we can trust some results, your internal employee paid results. We cannot trust outside results from other.
Oh no, I'm not asking you to trust my results.
Okay.
I'm asking me to trust my results. I'm the one authorized by the state of Arizona by a dispensary agent card to cultivate on behalf of the patients. You are not.
Okay. Let me ask you this. So you don't believe the results, but if you were presented with internal results showing an estimated 300,000 colony-forming units per gram, would you be comfortable selling a patient that cannabis with that high of mold content?
Well, I'll speak to the point legally it's allowed in the state of Arizona, and there are over 100 cultivators in the state that are currently selling medicine to patients without any laboratory testing or care, control, and custody at all. Nobody knows what these cultivators are putting in. We've seen pacbutrazol show up in varieties of dispensaries. This is not good for our patients. We need to be concerned about the health, care, and safety of our patients, don't we?
There has to be a level of conspiracy involved for us to plant mold and other things, which I think is interesting. By the way, the packages that you sell are sealed. We'd have to break open a sealed package, deliver it to the lab, reseal it. We deliver it to the lab, and we have footage showing that the packages are sealed upon delivery.
You trusted a person, I don't know whether they're related to the complainants or not, or they're a completely independent person.
Yeah,
and then it went to a lab, and you don't know the credentials or credibility or reliability or certification of the lab that it went to. Wow. So I'll go back to my opening statement.
Okay.
We took one bud, large about that big. We cut it into thirds. We sent it out to 3 different laboratories in Arizona. We got 3 different results.
For THC content?
For THC, CBDs, yes, right. And pesticides. And this was going back 3 years ago.
But you're not testing for mold.
Nobody tests for mold. Mold isn't even a requirement in the state of Arizona.
Correct, but other states do. Colorado, they tested 45,000.
But you know what? We're not in other states. You know, when you look at managing TV stations, you're regulated by the Federal Communications Commission. Isn't that correct?
That's correct.
You're not regulated by North Korea, are you?
No, we're not.
So you don't comply with North Korea's television laws, do you?
No, we don't.
So why should you be judged by North Korea's laws?
Because the safety of your patients depends upon it.
Why should dispensaries in Arizona be judged by rules and regulations set forth in Colorado when we are not required to adhere to them? I will assure you that if we were, that would be a different story and a different result. We systematically inspect our marijuana. We have systematically moved marijuana from flower to concentrates because we were not comfortable with the quality of the product. Very simply put, when you concentrate it, it's distillated 2, 3, or 4 times. That removes any biologicals, any pesticides, anything. It creates a pure THC product, very high, very quality concentrated, and we sell those as vapor pens and cartridges. So if a patient is very concerned about safety, then I would recommend without any doubt that they purchase and use concentrates, vapor pens, oils, shatters. Very simply, that is the highest and purest standard for THC today.